And so, the last point that I would like to make with this is that if we believe in His Son, we have the promise of seeing our loved ones again in His eternal kingdom. And once again, from the Apostle Paul to the church in Thessalonica, he said, "But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those which are asleep, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if you believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so, them which are asleep in Jesus will God bring with Him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord Himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so we shall ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words." And so with that, I just say that whatever memories that we have of Terry, keep them close in your heart, for through these, he will always be a part of our lives. And so with that, I would just like to open this up for a time of sharing. At this time, let's talk about Terry, and just share with each other some of the memories and the things that that we remember about Terry and appreciated about Terry. And I'll just start off with sharing with you guys that the first time that I met Terry was actually in 1999. When we bought the church building that we're currently in. It had been abandoned for about, I'd say about 15 years. And it was in terrible shape, and it only source that it had from heat, or for heat, was had originally been a wood-fired furnace that had eventually been changed over and became an oil furnace. And I don't know how long it had been since it had been in operation. The chimney was all messed up, and so we had the building, and I didn't know anybody that could work on that kind of stuff, and so I got the number for Robbins Heating and Electric, and I got a hold of Terry, and he came out and looked it all over, and I was thinking that, probably impossible to fix. But Terry, great big grin, grabs me by the shoulder. "Oh, yeah, no problem." And he completely rebuilt the firebox and rebuilt the chimney, restructured the whole thing, got the old oil burner and everything up and going, got the oil barrel all cleaned out for us and filled up. And so it was Terry that helped us to get heat in that building so that we could begin remodeling and actually have the church that we're in today. And so my very first memory of Terry, of ever meeting him, was just that can-do guy, and was able to be a blessing to the church even long before he ever started actually attending. One of my favorite fond memories of Terry.
Yes, one of our favorite memories is that Terry is a square dancer, and that's how we met him. He was the most happy person, and him and Londa, they were such a joy, and we just loved dancing with him, and Terry was always so happy and so filled with joy.
Yeah. I'm Craig Abercrombie, and I'm the square dance fellow that was out here before, and I'm kind of responsible for getting them together in a way. One of us invented square dancing, and I taught Londa square dancing in St. Helens, where I live, with the group I had there. And she kind of went to Longview once in a while, and pretty soon they were hooking up, and he was driving down to St. Helens or Longview every Wednesday night, or a Saturday too, to dance, and he was such a great guy. He gave me all kinds of crap, and I enjoyed every bit of it. But yes, yeah, I can see him grabbing you and saying, "That'll be just all right, we'll get that done."
Oh yeah, no problem. Don't stress it.
So, my Uncle Terry was always there when we needed him. When I was a sophomore in high school, him and my Aunt Janie took me in for a semester of high school, and it was when I was learning to drive, and they helped with that along with Sally and Scotty. And it was during a time in their life when it wasn't disruptive, but they had things going on because they had their kids and they were adopting, but they still let me stay there for the time I needed. And then when my first husband and I moved back from California and I was pregnant with my first kid, we lived with Aunt Janie and Uncle Terry, and they took us in, and I knew he was always dependable, and that's something that we could always count on him for, and he's going to be really missed.
Yeah.
So I bet all of you know that Dad never left the place without meeting a new friend, right? I mean, we go to a game or something or to a restaurant, and he would stop at somebody's table. He never met them, but they were his friend before he walked out a half hour later. My dad loved everybody. He loved people. He loved food. He was never wrong, but once, at least with me, I was once right. Would get excited. Casey can attest to some of that. I'm not sharing her story, but I will share my story. Where the first time we were out on the bay up by Port Townsend, and we were going shrimping, and Brittany was probably, I want to say, 2 years old, maybe 3, and he took me out in the boat, and we're dumping the pots out there, and he goes, "You take control of the boat." Yeah, guess what? There's like green stuff you're not apparently supposed to go in, and Dad got really excited and just started grabbing and going, "Bar, bar." Yeah, anyway, he got a little excited. He does that sometimes, but and I think he's done that with all of his kids, grandkids, and great grandkids. He can get excited. But he always had a big heart.
I was just curious. I just met him a few years ago at our weather reunion, and I was so happy to see that they happen to live close to us. We live in Montesano, and Terry's my grandpa's first cousin. So it was great to meet him, and I thought it was really cute when they had a reunion here, and he made all these camping spaces for people to be able to come.
Yes, he did.
Because it was far away. He cut all these spaces in here. He had a contagious smile. I could tell he was family. It's just so beautiful.
So come on back now.
But I'm really curious of who his family is. Like his children, and who belongs to Terry. If they could raise
Everybody
their
that
hand.
belongs to Dad, raise your hand. That could be almost everybody, right?
Is that
Come
right?
on, cousins. Come on. I got cousins back there that aren't raising their hands.
How many children do you have?
He's got 6.
6 children?
3
Okay.
children, biological, and 3 step.
Large
loves us
family.
all.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have stories? We do have, just so you guys know, if you don't feel comfortable talking out in front of people, we did put 5x7 cards out. You can write a memory or a thought. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that there's a 5x7 with that same thing for each one of us. We will be scanning it and putting it in a book for the family to remember, so that they can remember those memories, because when you tell a story, we're going to remember, yeah, I can remember Dad or Grandpa doing that, or great-grandpa doing that, or, my husband doing that. So it would mean a lot to Londa and all of us to have your memories. If you could share them, if you don't feel comfortable verbally sharing your memories. Because I know there's a lot more memories out here. And I keep looking at people that I know have some really good stories, and they're not talking. Like putting a motorcycle together with ball bearings from a roller skate.